So many of you out there think you have to shift your weight over to your right side and then back again to the left. But unfortunately, that is not a great way of doing things because we feel to ourselves, we've been told by all these textbooks, you got to shift your weight over to that right side to try and create the power. It's like throwing. Let's think about throwing. If you try and wind yourself up, what do? We get our weight onto our right side for a right-handed thrower and then transfer it back onto our left side. However, this isn't necessarily throwing, this is swinging the golf club, and it is a little bit different to what you expect. So I'm going to teach you to make sure we don't have to transfer our weight, and if anything, we'll actually gain more distance if we don't actually transfer our weight, because we'll strike the golf ball a lot sweeter if we don't. Before we start, don't forget, please hit that link below to my website to sign up on the waiting list for lessons with myself here at Whittlebrig Park Golf Club. Now, like we say, so many of you feel in the driver and in the irons as well, you feel like you need to transfer your weight back. So for a right-handed golfer, you feel like you need to get your weight onto the back foot, the right leg, and then transfer it onto the way down. However, this is a massively inefficient way of doing things. And the reason it is because the golf ball has not moved from its spot. Okay, so the problem is if we're transferring our weight over to our right side, we've shifted our center behind that golf ball, and therefore it's a lot harder then to get it back. We have to massively time to recenter ourselves to get back to that golf ball. It's going to be a massively inefficient way of swinging that golf club and being able to strike that golf ball. The correct way of doing it and the way we generate the power and the energy into the ball is like this. There has to be rotation, there's no real shift. There has to be rotation, there's no real shift. The problem is, as I say, if we're shifting, we're more than likely going to ground that club way behind. So there has to be much more of that rotation on the way back. And if anything, when we rotate, you'll almost gently feel a little bit more weight on your front leg, especially for your iron swing. This goes for everything, but especially that iron swing, that ball on the ground. We have to make sure when we turn back, there's just a gentle amount, roughly 60-70% of our weight is on our left leg on the way back, because then it's so easy then to recenter ourselves to get that club back to the golf ball. And if we look at where I'm contacting the ground here, it's the same every single time. I'm not looking at where that golf club's hitting, but I can feel it's hitting at the same place every single time. But if we try and transfer our weight, ball's not down there, ball's in front of us here. So we've got to make sure we are turning and keeping our weight on that left side to make sure we increase the energy levels going into that ball, because we're striking it much more solid. So make sure you don't shift. We have to rotate. We don't shift. We have to rotate for much more solid hits, more repeatability, but also more distance.